was pop, and quarterfinals of Draft League is here. Pretty crazy after having a strong start to the season, then a little rough patch in the middle of the season, and then a strong finish to round off the season. We are here for what could potentially be our last game, and we're taking on none other than Playmore, who I'm pretty sure Joey and I ranked as having one of the top teams in the league when we did our draft recap and tier list video at the beginning of the season. Playmore got 3 people on it. There's Ben, aka General Tar Heel, who we're going to be battling, and then Pokemon and I believe Tyler, who does the commentating during the game, the 2 of them. I know Ben in real life though. I've met him a few times. He's cool, solid battler as well. And as always, we have our work cut out for us against his team, which consists of big threats like Iron Valiant, Garchomp, Metagross, even stuff like Tera Glastrier, Tera Hisuian Electrode. Both of those are really strong Pokemon that can terastallize, and having access to, bulky mons like Wish Vaporeon and Chestnut and Weezing and stuff like that, as well as like Scarf Crocodile or Scarf Chandelure. Even Scarf Garchomp is a potential option as well. There's a lot of versatility on the team. There's good mons that can set up hazards and all kinds of stuff like that. And yeah, just a bunch of annoying Pokemon that we have to deal with. A lot of threats though. So I decided to start off my team with Choice Scarf Tera Ground Flygon. This is something I've not brought yet, and I think it does really well versus him, especially if he brings like a Neutralizing Gas Weezing instead of Levitate. Then Flygon kind of just goes pretty crazy against his team, right? Because if he brings Neutralizing Gas, then we can Earthquake it. If he doesn't, then I paired it with Toxic Spike's Toedscruel because the combination of the two, right? If he doesn't have a T-Spike Absorber, which the only mon that he has on his team is Weezing, then, Toxic Spikes are really good against his team. But then if he does absorb those Toxic Spikes, Earthquake with Tera Ground is incredible in the matchup, as I think only Chestnut is the resistance other than Weezing's Levitate, which is the immunity. I'm pretty sure there's nothing else on his team that can really want to switch in on, I guess, Earthquakes and stuff like that. And I also do have Air Slash as a nice little coverage move on this thing to be able to snipe Chestnut on the switch in case he tries to bring that and go into it on my Earthquake. It's a pretty nice 2-hit KO depending on the bulk investment, even though I'm minus special attack. And so then I ran Outrage and U-Turn, which I feel are just, good moves in general. This is for momentum. This is just to do a lot of damage, especially, cleaning up late game with Outrage could be cool as well, and enough speed to outrun a Adamant Agility Metagross, which also covers Choice Scarf Crocodile because it's faster naturally. And yeah, it's a really cool mon to try to bring because Tera Ground is actually, I don't think I've terrestrialized into ground type yet. I have done steel and I've done normal, and yeah, ground is one I've not done yet, so hopefully he will be caught off guard by it. So then yeah, like I said, Toedscruel is really good for Toxic Spikes versus him because I feel Toxic Spikes are in general really good. You really require Neutralizing Gas Weezing because it's touching the ground, or Heavy Duty Boots on all your mons. But then if it's that case, if that's the case, then Flygon's gonna be faster than everything, like non-choice scarf and stuff, which is really cool. And yeah, then we have that for Rapid Spin and stuff like that. With Focus Sash to kind of guarantee get up T-Spikes, we need that guarantee assurance to be able to set those up versus mons that can potentially OHKO us. Annihilate is great for spin blocking because he has Cyclizar, so he can remove them with Cyclizar Rapid Spin, but it's not really great into the Annihilate matchup because Annihilate can just sponge pretty much every Cyclizar hit, I would say, and it's just great to apply pressure. We have Encore to potentially lock Pokemon like Swords Dance or Curse Glastrier into a move, or anything slower than us. I set this speed to be like faster than Adamant Metagross, so it's pretty good. And then yeah, bulk up Encore, just a classic set with Roselli Berry to sponge those fairy type attacks from Pokemon like the Iron Valiant, Hisuian Electrode Tera Fairy, and Glacier Tera Fairy as well. So now we're getting into some interesting sets here. I'm bringing Expert Belt Defensive Hex Mew with Will-O-Wisp. So let's say, for example, he brings a lot of mons that have boots, or Metagross, for example, which is immune to Toxic Spikes, does not get poisoned. Then we have a Will-O-Wisp Mew to burn stuff like Metagross, potentially Crocodile on the switch, Chestnut, maybe Valiant, Garchomp, etc. We could burn a bunch of mons and then just spam Hex, which is pretty cool. Psychic Noise to prevent healing, and then Ice Beam, which is really nice. I think with Expert Belt 24, it does a lot to Garchomp. So I'm running more defensive EV spread so that we can sponge hits, but then Expert Belt kind of makes up for the loss of special attack EVs with the damage output that it does. And we have moves that like hit a lot of stuff super effectively. Like Ice Beam can cover a lot of things like Garchomp, Hisuian Electrode before Tera, Crocodile, Cyclizar, Chestnut, etc. And then yeah, Psychic Noise is good for Valiant, and also Chestnut Weezing. Hex can hit Chandelure really hard, and Metagross. So it'll hit most things super effectively, which is nice. Enough speed for Crocodile. Now I have Farigiraf, and this Farigiraf set is, I think, really cool. So my thought process is, why not bring Farigiraf with Future Sight this week? And so there's like a lot of different layers to this team, right? Like for example, Toxic Spikes. If you bring a Weezing that's on the ground, it absorbs, but then it's weak to Earthquake and stuff like that, etc., etc. But then if I bring Future Sight, right? Let's say we line up a Future Sight, then we go Flygon, then they can't go into any potential ground immunity or into their Chestnut. And so there's another layer there where they might have to also switch into T-Spikes on that turn, get poisoned, and then also take a Future Sight, and then have to worry about Earthquake. So it's like a lot of things that are stacking together, which I find really cool. So then, yeah, this says here just 4 attacks AV, which I find to be nice for our team. And finally, Empoleon, which is there for the purpose of checking the ground types, I guess, because it has Shucka Berry, so we can Surf or Ice Beam accordingly. And this mod I think is essential because it's just a great sponge overall. I really like it a lot. It's a great switch in also to Ice type attacks from Glastrier, and it would have to run close combat or high horsepower or something like that to knock us out. But yeah, then we were able to sponge it at least once and do a lot of damage back. I was running Flash Cannon before, but Flash Cannon I swapped for Roar just because I think it's more useful to have a way to kind of phase out Vaporeon if it's like Calm Mind or something, or some kind of like obnoxious bulky set. I think it's just better for the utility to have that. And also potentially if we Future Sight, we can Roar a Pokemon out into another Pokemon that will take Future Sight damage, and it might not be the one he wants. So that's going to be really cool as well. Like I said, there's a lot of layers to this team that's, you know, gonna hopefully be able to put in work when we battle him shortly. So that's the team. Let's see how we can do versus our opponents. I really hope I can win, but I mean, I think we did all right so far just to make it to playoffs, but I'll be satisfied if we make at least semifinals. That'd be nice. I'll see you all for the battle starting soon. So I have a feeling this is going to be a great game because of the fact that this is also probably going to be a difficult game. We've made it to playoffs and we're in the quarterfinals taking on none other than the 3-man team known as Playmore. Fortunately for me, my unit of Amel and PokeMMD, I believe have given me sufficient enough practice for this matchup, and hopefully we can win, as this is potentially our last game of the season. With that in mind, I'm trying to get to 100k subscribers, so please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. It would mean a lot, and we have found them. So let's see what Playmore decides to bring versus us. I'm very curious. And wow, they got a lot of threats. Metagross, Garchomp, Crocodile, Iron Valiant, Glastrier, which is going to be the Tera captain, and Chestnut. So, okay, immediately what I see is no Weezing, which means that if I get up a Toxic Spike, it looks great, depending on how many heavy-duty boots he brings, but he's got a lot of threats. He's got a lot of them. And yeah, some of the most dangerous mons. I mean, he didn't bring like Vaporeon and stuff like that. No Weezing either, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think the Toadscrew lead here, try to get up a T-Spike and go from there, is what I'd consider the best start for this matchup. If we get rid of Chestnut, or if we weaken it enough, especially if it takes T-Spikes, that could really open up our Terra Ground Flygon quite a bit. Other than that, I think that Mew kind of does pretty well too. Yeah, he's got a lot of threats. Garchomp is definitely a scary mon. Valiant is a scary mon. Glastrier is going to be tough to break. Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. But let's see what happens. He decides to challenge me. May or may not be his first mistake. Let's find out. Let's find out. So, okay, leading off with the Metagross here. And this is fine because I have Focus Sash, so even if Metagross is Ice Punch, this is a T-Spike for us. So let's go ahead and do that. And he has Ice Punch. Okay, cool. So brings me down to my Sash. I'll be able to get up this T-Spike here. And so I would predict him to probably have Bullet Punch. So maybe I preserve this as a sack. And I could go Mew instead. Now what Mew could do is it forces a Will-O-Wisp scenario where if he does switch, he gets poisoned. If he stays in, he gets burnt. And so Will-O-Wisp Mew is great because it basically burns the mons that can't get poisoned or don't get poisoned, like Metagross for example is a steel type. And that also is great for Hex doing more damage. So let's see if we can burn this thing. That would be fantastic if we can. Getting rid of this threat is going to be wonderful. Nice, and we land. Beautiful. So yeah, burning Metagross is really, really nice for us. Goes for rocks. Okay, so this is probably it's just probably a rocks lead, I guess. I faced Agility Metagross. That was a pretty big threat while testing. So yeah, getting it burnt is really, really nice for feeling good about this matchup. In particular, when we don't have to worry about Metagross, right? So that's one mon less we have to worry about now, as it's burnt. So the Hex here, if he decides to stay in, he'll take a lot of damage. If he switches out, I don't know, whatever comes in, I guess, gets poisoned and takes decent damage from Hex. So whether he sacks here or not, we have a pretty, I would say a pretty solid turn coming up now. Depending on what he goes for. If he goes hard Crocodile, at least it'll get poisoned. Okay, who's this? This Pokemon is the Garchomp. And it does get poisoned, nice. So it's not Boots. That's good information. So Hex here, doing a little bit of chip. Decent damage. And so now I believe just firing off an Ice Beam is the play. I should not die to any hit from the range of HP that I'm at right now. And Garchomp cannot set up in front of me because it will get knocked out by an Ice Beam. If it's Yache Berry, it should still do a lot, and I'm pretty sure because of my Expert Belt, it'll die through the Yache plus poison. Outrage, ooh, is that Scarf Chomp? No, that's Band Chomp. It has Choice Banded Garchomp. So yeah, I EV'd my Mew very defensively, so it had some pretty good bulk with Expert Belt. Nice EV spread I gave this mon, which was great because, you know, to make up for the damage I gave it Expert Belt for powering up some of its moves. Now, Iron Valiant's in. So to double check, I'm at 65 HP and I believe that I do survive Stealth Rocks when I come back in. So Mew is actually really useful. I probably wouldn't want to sack Mew here. And instead, maybe I could just go Toedscruel and sack that Pokemon instead. Because, yeah, even if he sets up right now, like, that's not really an issue. He came in and we know he's heavy duty boots, right? Because he didn't take poison. So being non-booster means we're faster with Flygon, but he actually switches here, or pulls a double out, which is an interesting play, and goes into Metagross. Okay, so good play. He basically just forced my sack here. Pretty good. But yeah, Metagross isn't really in a position to threaten my team. And so here what I could probably do is, because Metagross is burnt, I have a few options. I could go into Empoleon, but I don't really want to burn my Shuca Berry in case he Earthquakes yet. I could save that for Crocodile potentially. Flygon is a potential option as well, but I don't really want to reveal my Flygon set just yet while Chestnut is still healthy. I don't know what set it is. So I think Annihilate is the best option right now, because it forces him to, I guess, maybe go Valiant. I also want to know if the Valiant has Encore or not. It would be valuable information to know, because if it's not, I could just bulk up and start attacking stuff. And if it is, I have plenty of pivots I can kind of switch around. So yeah, with Metagross being burnt, it's not going to be able to do anything to Annihilate anyways. And so, well, yeah, I'll just bulk up here. I believe is the play to make. Because yeah, I don't want to assume that he has something that he doesn't have. So he actually goes hard Valiant. So I assume maybe it is Encore, but I don't really want to switch just in case he just, you know, decides to attack. I want to get the information bit by bit. So I think I'll... Yeah, because like if he Encores me, I can always just go Farigiraf. My Farigiraf is really, really bulky. It's, you know, FizzDef AV, so... Can sponge hits from the physical and special side of the Valiant. Especially knowing that it's not, you know, boosted or anything like that with Life Orb or Choice Band or anything, so... Yeah, he does have Encore, that's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. So yeah, I'll go Farigiraf here, I think is the play. So let's see what he goes for here. He goes for the close combat. Okay, nice play. Predicts my switch out. But as you can see, we've sponged that pretty well, and we can also survive another close combat. I'm thinking I could show off Future Sight a bit, right? Because we'll be able to pressure something with Future Sight, which could be really cool. So let's try it out. I don't believe he's going to stay in here, so I feel like he might go into... Maybe... I don't know. Let's see. If he decides to stay in, I don't think he will. I think he needs Valiant, so I feel like he's gonna switch. Yep, he does switch. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I had a feeling that something else would come in here. It's gonna be the Glacier, okay. It's a nice Future Sight. We can see into the future. And I guess I can go back into Annihilate here because, yeah, I'm really FizzDef on Annihilate, so if I take a hit, I can at least boost my Rage Fist. And doing that would be kind of nice just to get 100 power Rage Fists off and stuff like that. Instead of going for bulk up, because now we know the Valiant has Encore. But Glacier also having heavy duty boots is annoying. So now Valiant and Glacier both have boots. So I guess my T-Spikes, I mean, they were useful on the Garchomp, I guess. Metagross is burnt, so that's fine. So it really comes down to if Crocodile and Chestnut are boots or not. Which will kind of nullify my Toxic Spikes overall. But hopefully, you know, that's not the case. Decides to Tera here, what could it be? I think it's Electric or Fairy. It's gonna be... Fairy, okay. So Tera Fairy is cool. I do have my Resist Berry on hand, so I'll be able to sponge this hit. So he goes for the Terra Blast. And so what's really cool right now is that I have a Future Sight lined up. So I can actually freely go for bulk up here because of the fact that he can't go Valiant on this turn to Encore me. So if I bulk up, I'd be a +1, get 100 power Rage Fist as well, and not be Encored. So I think that's great. If he decides to stay in, I'll probably survive this. I'm pretty sure I do. And then I'd be at an extra 50 power on top of that. Get a big Rage Fist off. If he stays in, he'll also take Future Sight damage, and we need to weaken this Mon in order for Flygon to spam Earthquake. So we gotta get rid of the Chestnut, and we gotta weaken this Mon, because this Mon can sponge a lot of hits, probably, depending on his investment. So let's see what he goes for here. He goes for the Terra Blast once again, and I think we'll live this. Yeah, we do. Cool. Very nice. Future Sight comes through, and that doesn't do too much, so I think he's very specially bulky with boots. But now this Rage Fist should hurt. So now question is, does he sack something or does he try to stay in and knock me out? Let's find out. Let us find out. Yeah, because I definitely want more damage on this Pokemon. If I can get damage on this Glacier, I definitely want to. He might also sack the Metagross because it's kind of useless now. That could be an option if he doesn't want to get damaged, but something is going to take damage right now. And I'm curious to know who it is. So he does switch out here. Okay, cool. It's going to be the Chestnut. Oh, that's great. And it takes poison damage too. So this Rage Fist should hurt. Yeah, great damage. It's Rocky Helmet as well, so I mean, that's fine. But yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, we're weakening Chestnut, which is one of the best answers to Flygon, my Earthquake, my Tera Ground Earthquake. So I think now is probably the time where I go Mew. So this is why I save my Mew, because it can switch back in on rocks now. And I think that Mew is gonna be great. I don't know if he's gonna switch out of Mew with Chestnut, but if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure a Hex knocks it out. Like, I could just go for Hex and knock out Chestnut here. I feel like that's a play I can make, because he knows that I have Hex and Ice Beam. So he doesn't have a lot of great switch-ins to go to, especially if he gets the wrong prediction. So let's go Mew. And let's fire off a good old Hex, I think is my play. I don't think he's gonna go Crocodile. I don't think he's gonna go Crocodile at all. Yeah, so he stays in. I was thinking about that for a second, but yeah. Chestnut gone is fantastic, and it's, you know, Chestnut your day today. It's Chestnut your day today with that Chestnut. Thankfully. That's wonderful. Yeah, now Earthquakes are really free to go for. Although, you know, I can only bring it in if I'm guaranteed to knock out something. Like, all of his Pokemon have probably attacks that can do a ton of damage to my Flygon, so we gotta be really careful. So now I guess he goes Valiant. I assume Valiant comes in now. He ends up going into Crocodile. Okay, so this gets poisoned. That's nice. That's really, really nice. Okay, so the T-Spikes are actually working really well. And so I could Ice Beam here because he'll reveal to me if he's faster or not. I'm actually naturally faster than Crocodile, but if he's faster, he's Choice Scarf, and finding that out now is going to be great information because my Flygon is going to be faster than Scarf Crocodile. Let's see what happens though. Yes, it's gonna be Choice Scarf Crocodile. Okay, cool. So he does knock me out here, and he's locked into close combat, which is actually cool because now that he's -1 and takes poison damage, I'm pretty sure my Tera Ground Flygon knocks it out. I'm pretty sure it does. Because, yeah, I don't think my Farigiraf can survive the +1 close combat. Maybe it can, because it's not stab from Crocodile, but to double check here, Crocodile at -1 does in fact get knocked out by Tera Ground Flygon's Earthquake. So we're gonna go right into Flygon, and we're gonna try to knock this Pokemon out. Hopefully he stays in. Expecting Dragon Dance so I can knock it out. But fun fact about Crocodile. So the name originates from Crocodile, but because it's a dark type based on a thief, Game Freak actually went a bit further with the layers here. They wanted kids to know that if there's a crook, dial 911. Or whatever your emergency number is. And we're probably gonna have to do just that, because this Crocodile just stayed in. Which is absolutely fire. It's about to get obliterated. You like that one? But yeah, this is great. Hopefully it doesn't have like random bulk investment. Gone. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, okay, this makes it such that is it a 3v3 now? So there's Iron Valiant, Metagross, and Glastrier on his side, and Flygon, Farigiraf, and Empoleon on my side. This game's intense. This game's actually a tough one. I mean, we gotta play around a lot of these threats. And I feel like his team has more like dangerous mons. Garchomp, Valiant, Metagross, Crocodile, Glastrier, like all those mons are scary. But you know, I got some heat, I got Farigiraf, I got Flygon. Mew's always good. So now we got the Glastrier, and obviously we have to switch out here, and I think I'm gonna just go right into Empoleon. So Empoleon, even if he tries to predict with the Stomping Tantrum, or high horsepower, I guess he could also have close combat. But I'm not sure if he would go for that on this turn in particular. He might. But if he does, he's -1. My Empoleon's actually set to be faster than a max speed Glastrier, so I will be able to outrun and do a lot of damage back. And I mean, the goal right now is to get Glastrier in range of Earthquake, so let's see if we can do that. Goes for Tera Blast here. Okay, that's actually great for us. Yeah, that's really great for us because this should not do much. Yeah, it does a little bit, not much. And I'm a pretty defensive Empoleon, so I can just surf here. I don't think he knocks me out with any one move. I don't think. But Glastrier is really strong, so I wouldn't put it past me, but well, let's find out. Ideally, he just goes Metagross and sacks. I can just roost up. But if he stays in, then yeah, any kind of chip on this is going to be great. So we get the Surf off. Just does a little bit in close combats here. We survive, nice, okay. Okay, Empoleon. This is great. I don't think he's in Earthquake range just yet. So I'm gonna surf again. Switches out, okay. Maybe I should have roosted, but this is fine. Goes into the Metagross, okay. So Metagross we know has Stealth Rocks, Bullet Punch, Ice Punch. I don't know if it's Earthquake, I don't know if it's Meteor Mash, or Heavy Slam, or Psychic Fangs. I'm not sure what it could be, but I think my play is to roost. This Metagross is burnt, and we know that 2 of his attacks are times 4 resistant to my Water Steel, so I'm gonna see if I can heal, potentially. Heavy Slam, okay. Woo! Survived! Survived! Let's go, Empoleon! Let's go, Empoleon! Yo, Empoleon surviving clutch on 4 HP. Beautiful, thanks to my Chinese EV spread here. See, Metagross might be a supercomputer, but there's no way you can compute my EV spreads. You cannot, only I can. And not to mention, Metagross is my original mascot, so you know it's a Pokemon loyal to me. So it knows. It really knows. Nice. I mean, that does nothing. We're able to heal this off. And this is amazing because there's actually a role, potentially, where I can live close combat from Valiant, so I should probably try to be as healthy as I can be. Like, looking at the calc here, so I mean, Glastier's close combat, it's not gonna knock me out. If we somehow live Valiant, or Valiant close combat, then it's at -1, then I just go Flygon and I think I win. So, I think I just roost one more time, just to be safe. Yeah, I think just to be safe. Should be fine. Well, this is getting really interesting right now. That was a really clutch turn with Empoleon. Okay, so yeah, that's not doing much at all. We can roost up here. And I think now is where we attack to knock out Metagross. So let's go right for the Surf. Oh, now he's trying to go for freezes. Alright, so we can Surf, knock this out. So yeah, like I said, there's a potential role for me to live Valiant's close combat. But like I said, if he goes Valiant, that means that my Flygon comes in and OHKOs with Earthquake, or he has to sack Glastrier and go back into Valiant. So if he goes Glastrier here, I survive close combat and I knock it out with Surf. Then he has to go Valiant after that. So I think we might have this game, depending on how things go from here. I think we might have it. Maybe. Let's see. I'm getting excited. I think we might win this. Cause Scarf Flygon, Tera Ground looks so good. Depending on if we can weaken stuff. Okay, there's a Glass Sphere, that's fine. So we just surf here, I believe. Because we want to damage this as much as possible. Put it in range of Earthquake. Cool, yeah, easily in range now, easily. We'll survive the close combat, yep, we do. So now Glass Sphere is dead now. So then we only have to worry about Valiant. And we know Valiant's boots. We know it has Close Combat Encore. I don't know if it's Swords Dance, I don't know if it's mixed, but we'll find out. Because if it is mixed, we should be fine. If it is like knockoff or Swords Dance or whatever, we have to be careful, but I think we'll be fine. But yeah, if we get any damage on this right now, we're good. Okay, so he just Moonblast. So we know that he's Close Combat Moonblast Encore. Probably has, I don't know what his last move is, but I think we're fine. Because I'm pretty sure for Rigorath, it lives the Close Combat, and it should live the Moonblast as well, thanks to my AV. In fact, let me just double check real quick. According to this, yeah. Yeah, Moonblast does less than Close Combat, and we live from this range always, 180 HP, yeah, this is great. We always live this attack, and we should do enough damage or knock it out with Psychic Noise, or put it in a range of Flygon. Yeah, I think that's a wrap. I think we got this. Yeah, we'll always live this with the Salt Vest. Ooh, this is close. This is close. Unless it's got like knockoff. If it's knockoff, it does a decent amount more. Depends on the investment. I don't know. This is really close. If it's knockoff, no, he Moonblast. Oh, nice. No, wait, no. That matters. No. That 100% mattered. What? Okay, Flygon. It should not have come down to this, but Flygon, please. Please, Flygon, save me. Flygon, save me, please. Oh shoot, it could be Vacuum Wave. Please don't be Vacuum Wave either. Oh shoot. That's gonna, oh, I hope that didn't mess everything up. I really hope. I'm about to be so salty. I'm about to be incredibly upset, if that matters. Which, I mean, obviously that turn matters so much, but I mean, if it changes the outcome, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, okay. Big damage off here, big damage off here. Please, please, please. Okay. Close combats, we should live this. We do, okay. Do not be Vacuum Wave, because I don't want to get hacks out of this quarterfinals. Please. Come on. Come on, Flygon. Let's go! Yes! Let's go, Flygon! Let's go! That's gonna be GG, it's Emvee. Let me say it one more time. Hey, GG, it's Emvee. After an absolutely intense game, where we were almost hacked out, we have prevailed. And we have made it to the semifinals. At the very least, I wanted to make at least semifinals, and we've done it, so that was great. This was such a good game, though, on both sides. It would not have been... I mean, it was still a great game, but that crit almost made it a bad game. I could almost made it a bad game. But yeah, I mean, that was great. I hope to see more of, play more in the future. That was definitely a fun one. Definitely check out their side as well. Curious to see, the point of view on their side of the match, but Flygon was so good. As soon as Chestnut was weakened and finally removed, I saw Choice Scarf Tera ground Flygon, like the end game for it I saw clearly as soon as Chestnut took poison and then took the Rage Fist from plus 150 power and just went down. That was amazing, but yeah, I knew I had to weaken Glastrier first because that Pokemon is a demon. Literally sponged all the hits, and it feels way bulkier than it should be. Like, as a Tera Captain, it's, I think, one of the more dangerous ones for sure. I mean, that mon sponged so many hits on both the physical and special side. With Tera, you get rid of like a lot of your weaknesses too, but yeah, Empoleon clutched as well. The survival with my nice defensive Chinese EV spread was fantastic. Overall, really great game, really well played game on both sides. Oh, and I gotta mention Mew, because Mew actually Will-O-Wisp the Metagross, allowing Empoleon to live, knocked out the Garchomp, tanked the Choice Band Garchomp, knocked it out, and also hexed the Chestnut as well. That was really good too. Mew is also amazing. So I think, yeah, the MVPs of this match were definitely Flygon, Empoleon, and Mew, I would say as well. And with that being said, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and don't want to miss out on any of the Heat content. It'd be much appreciated. So with that, I shall see you all on the next one for semifinals. Peace.